COVID cases, as you know, have been surging in the Sun Belt region. In terms of a 7-day case count average, Florida is up nearly 27%, record number of deaths yesterday. Georgia up 38. Alabama, where our next guest company is based, case counts are up more than 48%. Joining us this morning, the CEO of the Chicken Salad Chick restaurant chain, Scott Deviney, which has more than 160 locations in 17 states. Scott, thanks so much for the time today. We really appreciate it.
Good morning, Carl. Thanks for having me.
17 states. I mean, you guys are all over the map, and I imagine you're having to manage policies that differ from state to state in big ways. Can you just talk about that complexity and where you see the hotspots right now, even after the data I just listed?
Well, it has created a major challenge for everybody, restaurant brands included. Our company, we spend a lot of time researching each individual, either municipality or state, to figure out what the rules are. And so when you have 160 restaurants operating, you have to really be mindful of what each individual city or state rule is relative to gloves, masks, social distancing. Our dining rooms at 25%, are they at 50%? Are they even allowed in? So we've been monitoring it since the middle of March, and our brand is franchise concept, which is about 70% of our business is franchise. So you have not only what we're tracking, but each individual franchise owner trying to make sure that they can keep up with what's going on, and it's ever changing. And sometimes you get a note at noon that at the end of the day you're shutting down dining rooms, and we have franchise owners having to scramble.
Right. As you're talking, as we were in break, Walmart, obviously the nation's largest retailer, is going to start requiring customer face masks beginning July 20th. That follows Best Buy. That follows Starbucks. Are you beginning to sense more clarity on a national level, at least on masks themselves?
Well, I think it's inevitable. And some of it's mandated, but some of it is the businesses trying to protect their team members and their guests. So what we do now is we require masks for all of our team members. And then we have traditionally deferred to the local municipality guidelines. So some would require masks and some would not. What we're seeing now is most are moving to masks. So when we're in restaurants, most of our guests walking in the door will have a mask on. We do have a few, though, that, and it's probably 10 to 20% that just don't have a mask and they don't wear one. Some will tell you they forgot it. But generally speaking, for the most part, every one of our restaurants, you'll see everyone in a mask.
Scott, I'm just curious what your customer count looks like right now. Have you seen a diminution in people walking in, particularly in those states where we see the rising case counts?
Well, David, when the shutdown happened, clearly our dining business went to zero. We're traditionally a pretty heavy lunch spot with about 60% of our business in the dining room. So we went to zero. Now we had to then move to other models, which is more bulk delivery, takeout, that kind of stuff. And we've been pretty successful holding our own. What we've seen with comp store sales, we were positive going into the middle of March for the year. And that's following 16 straight quarters of positive sales growth. And then March hit and we all fell off a cliff. So we're currently year to date, we're down about 14%. So not as bad as some others have been, but that really speaks volume to the brand and the brand value we have, and really our guests that really want our product. And we offer it in a way that's more in bulk packaging as well as just normal scoops and sandwiches. And so the guests can come in and pick up 2 or 3 of our large quick chicks, which is basically about a pound each. And so they can take that and put it in the refrigerator and have a product now for a couple of days, where some of their brands don't have that as an option.
Right. I know coming into this year, you had some pretty significant growth plans. Do you continue with the same plan, or has that changed in terms of new store openings?
Well, it's a little bit of the resiliency. We did have tremendous growth plans. Last year, we opened 40 new restaurants. Our plan this year was to open 50. And we were on pace to do that. We opened 11 for the first 2.5 months. And then when March hit, everything shut down. Believe it or not, we have opened 6 new restaurants in the month of June through yesterday. We opened yesterday a new restaurant in East Peoria, Illinois, and it was a fantastic opening with a great crowd and a great local franchise owner there. So we will still plan to open a total of 30 to 35 restaurants in 2020, which I think puts us in certainly rare category, opening brand new restaurants in this year.
Scott, do you think that the government has done enough to support restaurants during this period of uncertainty? And is there more that you need from the federal government as you look toward the second half of the year?
Well, Leslie, it's interesting because we don't really know the deep extent of what COVID-19 means for really everybody. And so I think with all of this happening so fast, and we're moving a million miles an hour trying to come up with medicine, vaccine, whatever, we're all just trying to do the best that we can. And our industry, along with hotels and airlines and others, have been traditionally hit really hard with this. So it's not necessarily fair for me to say the government's done a great job or not a great job. I think with the PPP program and some of the other things that they've done to help keep restaurants afloat has been very, very helpful. Is it enough to sustain every mom and pop or even some of the smaller brands out there? Time will tell. It really will be more dependent on, can we get our society to a point where we're okay wearing masks, getting into public, going out to eat again, and be comfortable with that. I think more the social distancing is what's really hampered more the restaurant industry lately, because 50% capacity or 25%, some brands will simply not make it.